Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to be talking about the different professionals that you're going to be encountering as a first-time buyer when you're buying your first property. So essentially what we're looking at is the valuers or surveyors. They're the guys that are going to have a look at the property that you're buying to make sure that it's suitable security for the lender. So predominantly in the main, they're acting for the lender to make sure that it's suitable security. Alongside that, we have the solicitors or conveyancers, and essentially they do all the legal work and liaise between the two different parties on the legals, and they will make sure that there's not a dual carriageway going to be running through the back of the garden of the property that you're buying, that there's nothing wrong with the neighbours already, and that if it's a leasehold property, that the title of the property doesn't have anything too onerous in it. Okay, so we've also got the estate agents, and the estate agents, they're an integral part of making sure that the deal happens. And we do liaise with the estate agents to make sure that you're presented in the best possible light for your mortgage. Obviously, the mortgage broker, I'm going to say that we do all the hard work because we make it happen, make sure that the money's there. Obviously, others will disagree, but hey, I'm a mortgage broker and I'm doing the video, so there we go. So valuations and the surveyor. So that's the first step. Now, the deal that you go for with the lender may or may not have a valuation fee. The lender has different ways in which they assess the property. They will either send a professional out to have a look at it, and they tend to do that if there's a lot of, if they're lending a lot of the value of the property. So, 85, 90, 95%, if they're lending that amount of money, they're likely to send somebody around physically to have a look at the property. Others, whereas there's a bigger deposit, then they may do what's known as an automated valuation model. An automated valuation model means that they use the data that's available on their systems to decide whether there's subsidence locally, whether there's floods locally, whether they're taking their chance and it's a safe bet. Now, if you pay a basic valuation fee with the lender, sometimes you will get a copy of the survey report or the valuation report, and sometimes you don't because it's just for the lender. Okay. Now, if you're putting down a bigger deposit, you might want to consider, because there's more risk for you, you might want to consider the next stage up, which is a home buyers report. Now, that's probably a 10 to 15 page report where they go into everything, the decor, whether there's damp, whether the timber's rotten, and they'll do considerably more whether the property's got subsidence, what the area's like, and they'll have a look at the roof. They might not go up on the roof, but they'll have an inspection from the ground floor. So that's a little bit more work involved, and that's a home buyers report. And if you think that you might want a home buyers report, you need to let us know sooner in the transaction, because sometimes we can get the home buyers report done at the same time as the basic valuation, and there's a bit of a discount. So that's something to consider. Alternatively, you may want to separately, independently get the home buyers report done, in which case you pay the full fee. And then finally, there's a third type of valuation, which is a full structural survey. And that is, if you're planning on doing some major serious work to the property, or you've got anything that you're really concerned about, then you might want to consider a full structural survey. Again, decide on that early on so that we can let the lender know, and then they will make sure that the valuer or the surveyor that they send out is qualified to do that sort of stuff for you. So there's the three types of valuations. There's basic mortgage assessment, which you may or may not get a copy of. There's a home buyers report, which you're in conversation with the valuer, so you will definitely get a copy of that report, and it's quite an extensive report. And then the full structural survey. A basic valuation will be done, and a full structural survey, which will just be done for you. So there's three types of valuations there. The next people that get involved in the process are the solicitors, the conveyancers. Now, essentially what they do is they check with the land registry, they check local authority searches, as I say, to make sure that there's not going to be a runway built at the bottom of the garden. Lots of other little things to make sure that the person selling you the property is the person that is entitled to sell you to the property, and also to make sure that There's no silly little things in the deeds or the land registry, which means that, you know, you can't necessarily park a mobile home on the drive. Or we had one where the next door neighbours owned a 1 foot all the way around the house. They own 1 foot of the property, so outside of the normal deeds, and they charged a person money to cross over the £1 that they owed. So it's like, I mean, that was the first time I'd ever heard of that, but that's the sort of thing that your solicitor's going to pick up on. The estate agents will have their bunch of solicitors that they use. We have a panel that we use, and basically we can sort of get you an illustration or a quotation, which is a fixed price, no sale, no fee. So if you haven't got a solicitor already, let us know and we can get you an illustration and a quote for that. So the solicitors, they do all the work behind the scenes, okay? And then finally, we have the estate agents. Now, you'll meet the estate agents early on because obviously you can't, well, unless the property's being sold privately, just be aware of that, because if it is being sold privately, there's a lot more work that you'll be doing as a result of wanting to buy the property that is done by the estate agents. Okay, so the estate agents are acting for the vendor. That's the person that's selling the property to you. So yes, they are going to be your best mate, and they are going to want you to buy the property because obviously the vendor will pay them a commission or a fee on completion. So they do want to make it happen, but they are acting for the person selling the property. So you do need to get that sort of thing in your head. Now, they will contact us to find out if you're good for a mortgage, you know, if you've done a decision in principle, and we do liaise with the estate agents. I used to be an estate agent mortgage broker, so I know exactly what they need to hear to make sure that the chances of you buying the property through them are as high as possible. Now, you don't have to use their solicitors that they recommend. You don't have to use their mortgage broker that they recommend. They may try and push you to the mortgage broker to say, look, you know, we need to check you out. And that's why we get involved very early on. We gather all of your data. If you want us to look after you, we gather all of your data. We'll get your decision in principle so that when you're going to look at properties, you're all armed and ready to be able to buy, and you won't need to talk to their mortgage broker at the same time, because you'll be able to say, we want to look at the property. It's within our budget. Here's our decision in principle, and here's our mortgage broker, Doug Bennett, if you want to talk to him and find out about what's going on. So there we go. The different professionals that are involved in the house buying process will help you all the way along through there. You know, we'll help you with talking to the estate agents. We'll help you with the solicitors if you need help with the solicitors, and we'll help you decide, depending on the property that you're going to be buying, what type of valuation that you need to consider. So there we go. That's the professionals. First-time buyers. I love helping first-time buyers. So give us a call. Office number 01293 889377. I'm Doug Bennett, and I look forward to getting you into your first home.